Headquarters here in New York City is Donald Trump. So where do you think you are in the race? I don't know if you guys are doing internal polling yet, but do you think you're ahead, behind, tied? Where are you?
I think it's very close. I think that probably one poll came out, I'm pretty much even. I just don't know. It's very early to have polling. I think we haven't even gotten started yet. You know, I'm just literally just starting. And I view the convention as probably a real starting point. But I think it's pretty even from what I'm seeing.
Okay. Now, you're taking some incoming from the insinuation that Barack Obama may be sympathetic to Muslim terrorists. We talked about this a little recently on this program. I don't think you believe that he's a quisling, that he's someone who wants Islamic terrorism to prosper. You don't believe that, do you?
I don't believe it. I do say, though, when I see a deal like was made with Iran, this horrible, horrible deal where we're giving them back $150 billion, to the best of my knowledge, and I tell you what, I've studied that thing pretty closely, we're getting almost nothing out of it. They're going to end up with their nuclear weapons and lots of other things, whatever they want. And then I see the way he treats Israel, I say, wow, there seems to be a double standard. I'm not happy about it. A lot of other people aren't happy about it. I can tell you the people in Israel are not happy about it. So I look at things and I see what's going on, and I'm a common sense person, and I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it one bit.
Well, the Iranian deal is geopolitics, and he believes that he's going to keep Iran from getting the nuclear device, but we'll see down the road. But your insinuation after Orlando was a little bit more personal than that. And remember the background, because you were a birther guy, you didn't believe or you questioned his birth certificate, where he was born, and now you're saying in so many words, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, so you can clarify, that, look, there's something more here than just President Obama seeing the world in a non-confrontational way. There might be a personal agent here. Is that on your mind?
Well, it bothers me when he's afraid or doesn't want to mention the words radical Islamic terrorism, when obviously
But he says it doesn't do any good to do that. It doesn't influence his policy.
I disagree with him. And then they redact a lot of the different statements made by this thug, this horrible guy that killed all of those people. And it's a disgraceful thing. So I disagree. You know, if you have a problem, you have to be able to speak openly about the problem. This is a problem. This is a real problem. This is a worldwide situation.
And that's the difference between you and not only President Obama, but Hillary Clinton, who's, you've brought her a little bit more. But you're kind of dodging my question, and you don't usually do that. Do you believe there's a personal component inside the president's personality that sympathizes with the Muslim world and doesn't want to taint the Muslim world with terrorism? Is that what it's about?
I don't believe anything. I see things, and whether it's the Iran deal, whether it's not wanting to mention the words radical Islam or radical Islamic terrorism or other things, Bill, you look at what's going on. I mean, it's not a question of what I think. But you look at facts. This isn't thinking. This is facts. And,
I know, but you go to motive.
And I really believe this, Bill. I really believe it. No, I have no motive. I don't care.
Not your motive. I'm talking about his motive.
If he were a great, let me tell you something. If he were a great president, a great president, and that's not going to happen, I would be so thrilled. If our real employment was at 5% or 4% or 3%, I would be so thrilled. But it's not. Our country is in a horrible position in so many ways, whether it's manufacturing, which is just fleeing. Our companies are fleeing our country with jobs. You look at what's going on with this country, it's really sad.
All right.
And
so
then you have what happened. Well, wait, Bill. I look at what he does, and I look at what he says, and I look at what he doesn't say. Why isn't he willing? How do you solve a problem if you're unwilling to discuss it or unwilling to name it?
Okay, now, he says that it doesn't have anything to do. He'll drop the drones on him. He'll do what he has to do. But, okay. Motive is always hard.
Well, you're always complaining. Hey, Bill, 1 second. You're always complaining he's not strong enough. He's not going in. He's not eradicating a problem which is always getting worse.
That's my opinion.
Drones are one thing, but drones are not going to solve the problem.
And
okay?
I agree with that. I've been very tough on him, as you have, in this arena.
Yeah, well, a lot
but I'm
of
trying to figure out.
A lot of other people agree with us.
And I may have a report coming up Thursday that might shed a little light on this, but we're still working it. Now, you and gun control. All right, let's run down the list. they got to tighten up the terror watch vis-a-vis buying gun list, right? That's got to happen, right?
Yes, sure. Okay. Absolutely.
Right.
Who would not agree with that?
And I think the NRA would agree with it, too. But we have to have a very precise thing about if you're on a terror watch list, this is what you can and can't do. What about the big guns, all right? You know, do people need the big rifles that fire a lot of rounds? Do they need them?
Well, the big guns, first of all, are the same guns that the enemy has and that people that can break into your home or do what this maniac did over the weekend. And the big guns are the same guns. I mean, you're going to have that.
Okay. So
people
you
use them for many other reasons. You know, they use them. They also use them for recreation, Bill. I have friends that are, my sons are in the NRA, so am I. People use them for recreation.
Right,
they use them
no
for
problem
a lot of other
then.
reasons.
Would you put any limits on, you know, you can't have a mortar, can't have hand grenades, can't have a bazooka.
Right.
Would you put any limits on what you can and can't buy?
On the guns, I wouldn't, because again, it's a question of protection, and also once you start, where do you end? Where do you end?
Slippery slope?
No, I wouldn't. I get along very well with the NRA on most of these subjects. I think probably the one is that when you're on a terror watch list, perhaps in a certain sense, my stance is tougher than anybody. But when you're on a terror watch list, you're on. You don't get a gun.
Yeah, they just have to have rules because there are mistakes and things like that. Okay.
No, they're right. There are mistakes. And by the way, there are many, many mistakes on those watch lists. And what I would do, frankly, is work hard to eradicate the mistakes, to make sure that these people get off the list as soon as possible.
But Congress is going to have to pass a law that has exact wording. All right, now, what about you buy a big rifle, all right? You buy, for whatever reason. Should you have to register that so the FBI knows the serial number, knows you have it in your house? Should you have to do that?
Well, right now, if you look at the real rules, regulations, and laws right now, you have pretty good laws in terms of registration. I was actually surprised to see it. I saw it 2-3 weeks ago where they show me laws. I mean, if we obey the laws that are already in existence, if we follow those laws already in existence,
okay, but theoretically,
you have pretty good rights.
Do you know, there are a lot of gun advocates, and including the NRA in this region, they don't want the government to know what they're holding because they think the government down the line is going to seize their guns. So theoretically, is it okay with you if the FBI knows?
I think that, frankly, I've stayed, and I really feel very strongly. I was very honored to get the endorsement of the NRA, the earliest endorsement they've ever given. I'm pretty sure, the earliest endorsement they've ever given to a presidential candidate. I have stayed with what they have been saying. And I'll tell you why, Bill. These people, Wayne and Chris, I think they get a bad rap. They are great Americans. They love our country. This is what they do. They really want what's good, I think, more than anything else for our country. And I have stayed very much with what they do.
Okay.
Having to do with the watch list, I would like to meet with them. I think we're going to meet, actually. I think something's set up or will be set up.
There's not big opposition to that.
Because the watch list to me is very important.
Okay.
The watch list to me is very important.
All right. Now we're going to hold Mr. Trump over to talk about his campaign. Some breaking news there, and when he'll announce his VP selection. Then later, very controversial move by the Justice Department censoring some of what the Orlando killer said publicly, but then reversing itself a few hours ago. What's going on? We'll be right back. Continuing now with Donald Trump from his campaign headquarters here in New York City. So one of your advisors, Corey Lewandowski, he's out. What happened?
He's a good man. We've had great success. You know, I got more primary votes than anybody in the history of the Republican Party by a tremendous amount, not by a little bit. I think Corey's terrific. I watched him before. He was terrific toward me. Said I was a talented person, and he's a talented person. He's a good guy. He's a friend of mine. But I think it's time now for a different kind of a campaign. We ran a small, beautiful, well-unified campaign. It worked very well in the primaries. I think I'm probably going to do some of that. I want to keep it a little bit very much in control. As an example, I have 73 people. Hillary Clinton has like almost 900 people, and we're in the same position. So, you know, there's something nice about that. I got criticized for that. I said, wait a minute, I've spent much less money than her, and the result so far is the same. I should be credited for that. But with Corey, I'm really proud of him. He did a great job, but we're going to go a little bit of a different route.
All right. So the different
from this point forward.
It's a different style, and you're bringing in
a little
some
different style.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right,
little different style. But a good guy.
You know, in any campaign, there's like power, you know, backstabbing, and everybody's vying for your attention. And do you care about that? Office politics? Do you care about any of that?
Well, it happens all over. You talk about office politics. It's all over. And, yeah, I think it does happen here, too. It happens everywhere, and I'm pretty good at it. I pretty much see.
Yeah, we saw
where
that on
it's
The
coming
Apprentice.
from,
Right. So.
Yeah. No, it
that kind of
happens.
thing.
I mean, that's
All right.
part of life. That's part of business. It's part of the social fabric of life also, in case we don't want to talk about it. But that's part of life.
What about the VP search? Are you going to announce before the convention in Cleveland so you guys can go in?
At the convention.
Oh, are you going to announce at the
And
convention?
Bill, I have to tell you this.
Yes.
You know, I have to say this because I have a couple of people have said they have decided that they didn't want to be. They were never asked. I have people that want to be chosen so badly, you have no idea. I mean, so badly. And
Why would they want to do that? Because you're not going to let them have any power. You're going to do everything. Why would they want that job?
No. I want somebody who's going to do a great job and has great judgment.
Okay, but tell me what you want. What are you looking for? What are you looking for? You want a real strong policy guy?
You always have to start. I mean, I hate to say this, but you always have to start with somebody that's going to be a great president in case something happens, right? Okay, you start. But I want somebody that I can rely on for their judgment. Hillary Clinton has poor judgment. I hope she picks a vice presidential candidate with good, but hopefully it won't matter because she'll lose. But I want somebody with great judgment. I also want somebody that most likely will be in the world of politics because I have all of the business experience and I have tremendous business leaders.
Yeah, I said Gingrich
in terms of getting legislation.
Right. Gingrich is probably your best bet, you know, because he had. But you see,
he's a good man.
He's a good man, but, you know, he disagrees with you sometimes. And I think that's healthy. You know, Gingrich came out and hammered you about the Mexican judge. I think that was a mistake that you made.
I've been treated unfairly. Look,
I know, but Gingrich said he's looking at the big view.
Thousands of people that love the course, and I've been treated unfairly. Right. What can I tell you?
All right. But what I'm trying to get across is Gingrich has all of the things that I think you're looking for, yet he's his own man. He's going to say what he thinks. Okay. He's not going to pander. I mean, is that okay with you?
Okay.
Do you want a strong person like that? It's all right?
It's good. No, and he's got good judgment. He's a good guy. He's been amazingly helpful. He's been, you know, I watch him on the different shows, including yours, but I'm with him also. He's got very great talents. But
yeah, he came out and endorsed you.
Great talents.
Giuliani's endorsed you. Now, we talked weeks ago about you putting together maybe a cabinet before you got to Cleveland. A bunch of guys, you know, Christie's in play, Giuliani's in play, and then going in with a team. Is that conceivable? Could you do that?
It is conceivable. Not for the vice president, but for certain positions, we may do that somewhat before the convention.
Okay.
We have tremendous people. We have tremendous talent, and we're going to use the talent. We're going by talent. We're not going to do necessarily politically correct. We're going by talent.
Would you step across the aisle and maybe try to convince Senator Warren from Massachusetts to come and be the ambassador to Tonga or someplace like that?
No, she wouldn't be my first choice. You know, she's been a very, very poor senator. She's passed
Tonga's pretty far away.
Little legislation. She has been. No, you know, the funny thing about Elizabeth Warren, she's been a lousy senator. She's done a terrible job.
Yeah, but she hasn't been in there that long.
You know, this presence where she's done a terrible job.
Do you regret calling her Pocahontas? Do you regret that?
I do regret calling her Pocahontas because I think it's a tremendous insult to Pocahontas.
Right.
So to Pocahontas, I would like to apologize to you.
All right. So I don't see a lot of reaching across the aisle, but who knows? Always instructive, and we appreciate you taking the time. I've told you that many times, and it's nice to have you on, Mr. Trump. Thank you very much. And one foot up, we have invited Hillary Clinton on The Factor, and we hope she will appear.